Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special session on Just Standards. I'm making a special announcement today. So, before I get into the announcement, let me just say if you guys have any questions, go ahead and you can ask your questions at any time. I will take time at the end to answer any questions. Today's session is not going to go very long. I'm going to make this announcement and answer any questions. So, if there's no questions, then we'll just end early. All right. So, anyway, let's get into the announcement. So, what's better than one Just Standards class? Well, I can tell you the answer. Two Just Standards classes, right? So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a super easy Just Standards class that's going to happen before the more intermediate advanced class. Right? So basically, there's going to be two Just Standards classes on Wednesdays. Right? So that's going to start tomorrow. Right? And don't worry, I'm going to tell you in a second how you can access Just Standards if you're not already if you don't already have access to it. Right? So basically, yesterday I sent out an email asking how I can help students and got a lot of great feedback. And for any of you who are waiting for a response from me, just be patient with me. There were like over 100 emails, so I got quite a few emails still to get through. But one of the things that I got from students is that it might move too fast, or like they need to go a little bit slower. So I was thinking, like, well, why don't I create a super easy version of Just Standards? Okay, because one thing I want to do in Just Standards, I wanted to kind of move beyond shells and all of that. However, there's probably still some students that would like to have that real basic beginner material. And then I got thinking that, oh, I might reboot my super simple standards. But I was like, no, 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 no. Let's keep it all part of Just Standards. So our first song that we're going to be working on is Cry Me a River, which is really kind of a cool tune. I know it's not always going to be everyone's cup of tea, but we voted on it. And so we're going to be doing Cry Me a River. Now, if the songs in Just Standards are not necessarily your cup of tea, I am going to tell you, I'm going to squeak in at least one, maybe two more modern songs. So the six that I already announced, we're going to keep doing those six, but I might throw in one, a little bit of a more modern song in between there because not everybody voted. And I'm going to kind of throw in something a little bit more modern for those students that are looking to do something a little bit more modern. And also, how do you take this Just Standards approach and approach a more modern kind of maybe like a pop rock kind of sound? How do you approach that with this Just Standards mentality, right? Because it's not a jazz tune. So anyway, if you're interested in that style or not interested in jazz and interested in other stuff, don't worry, I'm going to be interjecting some of those other styles into Just Standards. All right, but basically I'm going to be doing two classes. So at 11 a.m. Eastern starting tomorrow, I'm going to start with the super simple version of Cry Me a River. And then at 1 o'clock, we're going to be doing the more advanced version of Cry Me a River. Now, when I say advanced, it's more like intermediate to advanced. If you've gone through my Standards by the Dozen lessons and you're like, okay, yeah, I like those, that approach, that worked for me, well, then this is going to be just fine for you. We're just going to get a little bit more advanced with it. But if you find that it's a little too advanced, you can always pop over to the beginner session and be able to see that as well. The reality is, if you have a class level membership, you can go to all the sessions, right? You can do the beginner one and then do the more advanced one. So nothing is going to stop you from doing both of the sessions. It's just completely up to you and completely up to your time. But remember, you also get the replays as well. So if you can't join live, well, you can check out the replay. So basically what I'm doing is I'm making it so that we're covering all bases, while covering as many bases as we can, right? So those students that need that more real, simplified approach, you're going to get that. And those students that are looking for the more advanced stuff and want to get into more of the reharmonization, drop two voicings, more full arrangements, we're going to be doing that as well. Okay, so let's address some of the obstacles that I have heard from students. And these are literally obstacles that students have written in saying this very same stuff. Right. So let's go through each of these. Number one, I don't have the time. All right. So I've talked about this before. I completely get it. Look, we got four kids between Jamie and I. We're very busy. We got a lot going on. There isn't always time to practice. Um, I get that. So I want to give you a couple of pointers on that. Number one, if you could sit down even for 5 to 10 minutes, you can get some results. Now, are you going to get the same results as if you sat down for an hour every practice session? Of course not. We're adults. I'm not going to BS you on this. However, by sitting down for 5, 10 minutes, you keep your brain activated in music. Okay. So now, if you're going to say you don't have 5 minutes, then I'm going to say you're probably overscheduled, right? I mean, everybody has at least 5 minutes in a day to be able to sit down and do something. Even if you're just going and doing technical stuff, you're at least able to keep your fingers moving. I also suggest do micro practicing. Right. So rather than trying to practice for a full hour and getting upset at yourself and whipping yourself for not doing a full hour, practice for 15 minutes at a time. Okay. Because at least if you could do 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 15 minutes there, it adds up after a while. So I would definitely suggest, breaking up your practice into smaller practice sessions. Nothing wrong with that. And then, of course, the third suggestion is if you have any time in which you are in a car, plane, train, you're like you're a captive audience, commuting or whatnot, that's a great time to listen to the Confident Improviser podcast. It's a great time to, take the lessons on the go with you. Maybe you could, like, if you're in a train, you could be kind of looking at them because you're not driving, So practicing, away from the piano is great. You just go through and spell out your chords, right? Literally just say the root of a chord and a chord quality. All right, D major 7, D, F sharp, A, C sharp. All right, boom. Spell the scale, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, right? So like you could do that stuff even while driving, keeping your eyes on the road, of course. All right, so standards by the dozen is too difficult. I need to go slower. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Well, this is why I'm doing this new class. All right, so with this new class, you're going to have the super easy version, and then you're going to have the more intermediate and advanced level version. Okay. Liberace my head. I like that. I saw the comment come in on YouTube. I'll answer that in just a second. So hang with me and I'll be sure to answer that for you. So you have both both avenues, both pathways that you could take, right? So you could start with that super simple, just standards approach, or you could do the more intermediate. And remember, by joining in with the live conversation, you're going to be able to work with me, right? So if you're having difficulty, you'll be able to ask me questions. Something that's really important to just clarify and make sure that we're all on the same page is, early bird gets the worm, squeaky wheel gets the grease. If you don't let me know what's going on with you, then I can't help you. All right. I'm your teacher. I'm here to help you succeed, but I can't read your mind. Right. So you got to let me know where you're at. So if you're finding that you're overwhelmed, then write in support@jazzedge.com. That's the email address. You can write in at any time. That comes right to me, and I'm happy to give you some feedback. You could join in on coaching with Paul. You can join in on the Just Standards class with me. Right? There's many different ways in which you could get help, but you got to ask for that help. And I realize that for some students, they feel a little nervous doing that. The best thing I could tell you on that is if you want to reach a goal, you have to get over that, right? There's no easy, there's no easier, approach to it, right? So a lot of times we need that coach, we need that teacher, we need somebody that can help guide us. But that guidance is only good if we give them feedback, right? So we know that when we're in school with teachers, if a teacher doesn't know if you know the answer or not, well, then they're not going to be able to help you. You're going to go up to them, you're going to say, hey, look, I need more help on this. So I'm here for you, but I need you to be here for me as well. And what I mean by that is I need you to tell me where you're at and what you're having difficulty with, then I can help you, find a path to success. I can't afford it right now. That is a definite, situation. I get it. All right. To sign up for $69 a month or $621 for the year, for the lessons and the classes, that's a stretch for some people. I understand that, and I understand also with different exchange rates, that could be difficult as well. Now, I believe, and I've heard, thank you, everybody that's written in. I've gotten so many emails and just such great comments from people. Like anyone that says it's too expensive, they're like, they don't know what they're talking about because like this is a great deal. So I appreciate all of your emails and support on that. I feel as though that the pricing is completely fair. If you were to think about, you get a chance to work with Paul, with Nina, with John, with Mike, with Anna, with myself. You get 6 professional level teachers that you can work with in addition to the library of lessons. Yeah, for $69 a month is really kind of a steal. However, I understand, like I said, that doesn't work for everybody. So if it doesn't work for everybody, that's where those academy credits come in, right? I'm not going to bother to load it up. You can get on and you can see if you click on where it says sign up on the main Jazz Edge Academy site, you'll see off to the right is Academy credits or a membership. Take a look at the Academy credits, click on where it says learn more. You'll see all the FAQs. The gist of it is this: with the Academy credit, you can access any lesson or any class. All right. So what does that mean, accessing any lesson or any class? Well, Just Standards is going to be a weekly class. Every week would require 1 Academy credit, right? So the first week, tomorrow's lesson, we're going to work on a section of the song, right? I'm going to teach you that section of the song. The following week, I'm going to teach you another section of the song, and then so on and so forth, right? So if you want to have access to all of those sections, well, that would be an Academy credit for each one of those, okay? Willie, that's unfair. Why don't you just do it all as 1 Academy credit? Well, because the thing is, this is how we're breaking it up. We're breaking it up so that we're working on the song, we're working on improvisation, I'm giving feedback. So it's all in one, right? If I just like laid everything out and said, here's all this material, then once again, we're going to go back to I'm feeling overwhelmed, right? And that's not what I want to do for students, right? So everything's going to be broken up. So with the Academy credit, you can access any one of those classes, or you could access any lesson. So you can go into the lesson library, use an Academy credit, and you have lifetime access to that lesson. Download all the material, watch the lesson as much as you want. And the same thing goes for the class as well. Use the Academy credit, you could join live, and you can also watch the replay for that class as well. Can you use Academy credits for coaching? No, it's in the FAQ, but basically it's this. I don't want people jumping into coaching because coaching is a community, right? So I don't want someone buying an Academy credit and just jumping in every 6 months and kind of, interjecting themselves into this community that's there week after week, right? So coaching is only for members. Last one, I lose motivation. This is where the live class comes in, right? Because you're able to work with me. You're able to see other students. You're able to hear them. You're able to interact with them. You're able to get kudos from them because my students are fantastic. I get so many great students. A student will put their playing up. I'll put it on there, and you'll just see in the chat, hey, great job, great job, great job. That was awesome. I love that rendition. That's great motivation, right? Because when you practice just by yourself at the piano, you're just watching a lesson or looking at your sheet music or whatever, you're being siloed, right? It's just you. There's nobody else there. And not that there's anything wrong with that. We've been doing that for decades, right? As musicians, kind of siloing ourselves. But that's where the motivation is tough. It's difficult to have the motivation because you're just practicing by yourself. So this new class is a great way of being able to practice along with me. I'm going to show you different sections, and we're going to work through it. You're going to work through the practice during the session, right? You're going to leave and you're going to know exactly what it is you need to practice, so you know what your expectation is for the next class. And at any point, you can ask questions and you can get feedback, on your playing during the class as well, right? And there's a simple version of the class and a more intermediate advanced level of the class. Okay, so really, if you're looking for the motivation, the Just Standards class is the way to go, right? It's going to be happening over the summer. We'll continue it into the fall as well, but the summer is a great time to like just kind of get focused right in on this one class, right? And then be able to learn a song or two before the summer is out. Think about it. It's really a nice way of keeping yourself 100% focused. All right, so how do I access the new Just Standards class? Well, like I said, you can go in if you click on the sign up link right up at the top of the. I should have loaded this up. Let me just load it up real quick so I can show you what we're talking about here. Okay, and so if we go right here to sign up. You come down here to where it says membership, click on get started, and then you'll see you have a monthly option or a 1 year option. Just go ahead and click on this to be able to change. You'll see that the totals change right down in here. Basically, the lesson access, every membership includes lesson access, and then you get to decide. Do you want to add on coaching? Do you want to add on classes? So if you add on classes, it's $69 a month. If you want to do a year and add on classes, it's $621 for the year. Okay. Or the other option is the pay as you go with the Academy credits, right? So you click on the Academy credits. There's a video there. You can purchase your credits. Okay. And you have all of these FAQs here that explain the Academy credits. You can also get to that this way if you go to sign up once again up at the top. You click over here on Academy credits. You'll get all of this, FAQs, and you could choose how many credits you want. The Academy credits are a pay-as-you-go, right? So you could start with 1 credit, 5 credits, 10 credits. The more credits you buy, the more you save, and they don't expire. So you can get the credits and then use them whenever you want, right? But I would take a look at the Academy credits, take a look at all of these FAQs. But this really gives you many different ways of being able to access the site, all right, and access the Just Standards class. Okay, so if you want to have the membership, then you could do that, and then you have access to not just Standards, but you have access to all of the classes. And over the summer, Paul will be continuing his pop rock class, and Nina will be continuing her jazz piano class. All right, so you'll have both of those classes continuing all summer long, along with my Just Standards class, right? So, or you could do the Academy credits and then kind of pick and choose which classes or replays you want to look at, right? So you got many different options available to you. All right, so questions. So I only see one question right now. I'll answer that question, but if you have any questions, go ahead and chat them in now. Otherwise, we're going to be ending in just a couple of minutes. All right, so the question was, can Academy level members access Just Standards? Okay, so when I first started Jazz Edge Academy last September, I had 3 levels. There was a song level, an Academy level, and a Premier level, right? And the song level gave you access to just the song lessons on the site. The Academy level gave you access to all of the lessons, and it gave you access to some coaching, and it gave you access to just the Sibelius and jazz history class, right? And then the Premier level membership gave you access to everything. I found that was a little confusing for students. So we changed the site about 3-4 months ago so that now it's lessons, classes, and coaching. You get to decide which one of the 3 you want, or if you want all 3, right? And you saw on the membership page here, you get to decide lesson only, or if you want to add on coaching, or if you want to add on classes, right? So you have these different options of how you can access the site. So the Academy level members, this is a grandfather membership. It's no longer available, and anyone that has that Academy level membership can keep that membership for as long as they like. It's a really nice membership because what the Academy level members get is they get full access to all of the lessons. They also get full access to the coaching because that got kind of moved around as well. So now Academy level members get full access to coaching, and they also have access to the Sibelius class and the jazz history class. So if you were to add all of that up, you would end up paying much more. It's the Academy level members get it kind of like at that grandfathered chartered rate. Okay. So the question was, can Academy level members access the new Just Standards class? And the answer is no. All right. So there are a couple of options in what you could do. You can move your membership to a lessons and classes membership. Okay. Optionally, if you want to. You can also use Academy credits if you want to. That's another option as well. Another question I've gotten is, eventually, is the Just Standards class going to be added to the lesson library? No, it will not be added to the lesson library. Okay. The lesson library already has over 1,000 lessons in it. Okay. If I keep adding lessons to the lesson library, then I'm going to have to do one of two things, right? Either I'm going to have to take some of the lessons out, kind of like what Netflix does, right? They remove content. All these streaming platforms remove content after a while, or I'm going to have to raise the price. Okay. I don't want to do either of those things. So I'm keeping it in the classes area. Okay. So with that, there's enough room for the classes to grow that I don't have to raise any prices or take classes away right now, right? Because, like I said, we have room to grow in classes, right? So if you're an Academy level member or a Song level member and you would like to access this new Just Standards class, I would suggest go ahead and write in. Be patient. I got literally dozens and dozens of tickets that I'm working through. So it might take me a few days before I can get back in touch with you. But go ahead and write in. And then I can tell you what your proration would be. If you had a year-long membership, I can prorate your membership, and then we can use that, and I can refund that back to your payment method if you decide to upgrade. Okay. Jim asks, "What key is Crimea River in?" It's in C minor, E flat. Yeah, we'll be doing it in the real book key, right? And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you the changes from the real book, but then we're going to be doing reharmonizations from there. We're going to be kind of like fixing up some of the chord changes and changing those around. Okay, so real cool tune. All right, Arthur Hamilton tune, real fun tune. You can kind of do it like a kind of bluesy, stridey feel, and we'll be talking about that in the class, right, starting tomorrow. So, anybody have any other questions? If there's any other questions, go ahead and ask them now. Otherwise, we will be ending in just a few seconds. So, if you need to upgrade before tomorrow's class, and if for any reason you're not able to do that, meaning that you're not able to write in and I'm not able to get to the ticket right away, a couple of options that you have. Number one, you could get an Academy credit. Number two, you could upgrade your membership just by going to the what you call it, sign up. All right, so just click on where it says sign up, and you can upgrade your membership that way. And then we can always prorate after the fact, right? So in other words, like if you know you have a 1 year membership, right, and it's going to expire at a certain time, then what I would suggest you do is, and you want 1 year of lessons and classes, I would just come in here, click on where it says the 1 year, and I would choose the classes, and I would go ahead and check out. And then at that point, you could just write in and tell me, hey, look, Willie, I upgraded. Can you please prorate back any balance, right? I will tell you this. If you sign up for a 1 year membership, the proration has to be greater than your purchase. Otherwise, it's going to be issued as a credit, meaning that let's say you have $100 proration, but you sign up for the $69 monthly. Well, obviously, I can't refund $100 with a $69 purchase. So that means I would have to break it up into two $50 credits for you, which is fine. I don't have a problem doing that, but just want to make sure you know that. Can you upgrade to a class level and then go back down again to lessons? Yeah, absolutely. Right. So you can always, upgrade and downgrade your membership. If you want the most flexibility for being able to upgrade and downgrade, I would suggest going with a monthly membership. Okay, because when you do a year-long membership, it's a membership for the year, right? And I'm happy to prorate a year-long membership if you're upgrading. I don't do prorations if you're downgrading, all right? So if you're going to downgrade, it's not like, oh, hey, can I take all of that and then just apply it to a lessons only? We don't do that. So we'll do a proration if you're upgrading, but I don't prorate memberships, year-long memberships, if you're downgrading, right? Quite frankly, I hope you all understand. I just don't have the staff or the time to be going through all of that, because I get people writing in all the time. Oh, I want to downgrade here, upgrade here. It's like, so I just keep it very simple. If you have a year-long membership or a multi-year membership, in the case of Jazz Edge, if you have a year-long membership and you want to upgrade to something else, then I'm happy to prorate that, whatever time you had left over. If you have a year-long membership and you want to go down to something else, then there's no proration on that. Okay. So at that point, I would suggest just keep the year-long membership. But if you want the most flexibility and the ability to upgrade, downgrade, and you handle it all on your own, that's where I would go with the monthly membership. Because, for instance, if you start with a lessons only membership at $39 a month, you can just click right into your account, upgrade, downgrade, and then the next month you could go up to a lessons and classes. And then month after that, you could go back down to lessons if you want to. And all of that is all set up in the system for the monthly, right? You don't have to write in. You can manage that all on your own. And basically what happens is when you sign up on a particular date, like today is what, June 20th. So let's say I signed up for a lessons and classes monthly membership today. It cost me $69 today. I have access for a month. Well, I could get in later on today and say, you know what, next month I want to go down to lessons only, right? So what will happen is come July 20th, you will not be billed the $69 for lessons and classes. You'll instead be billed the $39 for lessons only, and your membership will drop down to there. And then maybe for July, you're like, oh, I'll just do the lessons. And then maybe for August, you're like, oh, okay, I want to go back to lessons and classes, right? That would be fine as well. There is one thing that I want to make sure that everyone understands, right? For anyone that's like, oh, I'm going to play that kind of upgrade, downgrade game and then get into just standards that way. Fine, whatever works for you financially, do whatever you got to do. But the when I'm going through just standards, right, whatever standard we're working on at that time, that's what I'm giving feedback on, and I am going to hold this to the line. Okay, meaning that we're going to start with Cry Me a River. Right? That's going to be our first standard. We're going to be starting that tomorrow, June 21st. We're probably going to go at least a month on that. Right. So at least until July 20 something, or maybe the end of July. Right. But after and during that time, I will give any feedback for any videos that students want to submit during our live class time on Cry Me a River. As soon as we move to the next song, I am not talking about Cry Me a River anymore. Why is that? Okay. It's not that I'm trying to be a jerk or anything. What I'll say is, hey, look, go to Coaching with Paul. Paul will be more than happy to talk Cry Me a River with you. The reason that I don't want to do that is that I want each standard that we're working on, we're only talking about that standard. Okay. I don't want to sidetrack students. I don't want to sidetrack the class. I don't want to sidetrack myself. I want it to be very focused. So it's like, okay, we're working on this. We got to the end of this. Now we're moving on to the next standard. Okay. And that way we'll keep each one of these classes really nice and self-contained, so it doesn't feel like it floats all over the place. Because that's one of the challenges that some students have said in coaching, is that you get students talking about all different things, and it's difficult for them to focus. So this is going to be extremely focused for students. If you want to learn some standards, this is going to be the way to do it, with just standards over the summer. Okay. All right. So anyway, that's it. Thank you all very much for joining me today. If you have questions, feel free to write in support@jazzedge.com. Or, of course, if you go to the website at the very bottom, it's kind of hard to see, but right down here where it says help, just go ahead and click on that. Click here to contact us, and you can write in your support question right there. Okay. I'm more than happy to help. Any questions that you might have, if you have questions about your account, you want to upgrade, whatever it is that you want to do, I just ask your patience, because like I said, I'm inundated right now with support tickets, so it will take me a few days to get through all of those. Frank, you're absolutely welcome. So thank you everyone for joining me today, and I'm super excited about our class tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow at 11 a.m. will be the beginner class, or the easier version, and then tomorrow at 1 p.m. And remember, every time I say these times, it is Eastern time. So whatever time it is in New York City, that's the time that it is here as well. Okay. Tomorrow at 11 will be the beginner class. I'm going to be adding the class up to the site a little bit later today. So you'll see the Zoom link there. And then at 1 o'clock, you'll be able to come to the more advanced one. All right. So I'll leave you with, I'll play a little bit of Cry Me a River here for you. Okay. So. All right, so that's it. Thank you all very much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow in the Just Standards class.